Alrighty, so we're back doing another episode of the Industry Influencer Series, getting settled in with a good friend of mine, Jason, who I spent a weekend up in his area, and I got to tell you, I don't think it's ever warm. I think it's been the Antarctic since the beginning of time, but Jason finds a way up in Minnesota to continue to write a ton of final expense business. So, Jason, how's it going on this Friday morning?
It's going well, man. I'm happy to see you, and thanks for having me. And yeah, it's I try to use that to my advantage. I have this saying: when the snow's flying, they be buying, right?
Yeah,
And that means they're all home. We get a little bit of snow, and most of the seniors are home, and like unless it's 2-3 feet of snow, I can get through it.
exactly.
So it's good for door knocking, good for business. Try and glass half full kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember in my first year of the business or my first winter in the business, I didn't take days off. I couldn't afford to, didn't want to, needed to continue forward. And it snowed like crazy in Philadelphia. I got
Yeah,
to Philly. I parked my car. I kind of like beached it and left it there. And in an urban market, every lead you could kind of walk to anyway. I
sure.
probably wrote 3K before I developed frostbite and had to give up.
Yeah,
Have
on
you,
the days when it's like that too, I try to look for get those where I have like 4 apartment buildings, they're all right next to each other, and you got 2 or 3 leads in each one. So there's ways to there's always a way.
Yeah, if there's a will, there's a way. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't have the will, especially when they need it the most, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
So today's topic is one I've been challenging captive agents to take me on for years, and none of them have the fortitude to actually have this discussion in real time in a calm and collected sense. But I want to talk captive versus independent
Sure.
because making money is great however you do it, but there is a significant difference. You spent some time, and I'll let you introduce that in a captive environment so we can kind of tackle captive versus independent.
Okay. Yeah. So I've done both, like you said, and I started in the business probably about I'd say 5 years ago. It was right around 2018, I believe, is when I came on with FS. And before that, I was working with what do we call them, Old American,
Mhm.
and I learned a lot there. I still I was just at Medicare Con, and my upline manager was there, who trained me how to door knock initially, and we hung out, and I'm still good friends with him. He taught me a lot. So there's good and bad with both models, right? And from my perspective, the good came from him, his personal knowledge on how to door knock, how to give presentations, how to stay out there. The thing I struggled with there is having only one product.
Mhm.
So either they fit into this dynamic or you leave business on the table. And that
Mhm.
happened far too often. I'm running into the COPD, I'm running into insulin dependent diabetics or whatever it might be that I couldn't get them covered. And because of that captive model, there was no, well, why don't you put them with this company? Why don't you pick up this company?
Mhm.
So that was certainly frustrating. The other thing was the lead flow, at least in this particular dynamic, was controlled by the upline. And, he would kind of say, hey, I got these, 20 leads. They're 2 hours from your house. Do you want them? And it's, well, yeah, it's all I got. I'm going.
Yeah.
And I would be working those leads to death until I got, I might only get 20 a month.
Ooh.
Yeah, 20 or 30 a month. So, I was constantly begging them for more leads, and it just as that just doesn't work. We see in an independent model or success model, either way, I think you need to be getting like 20 a week minimum, 20,
Mhm.
25 a week. So it was that, and then there were just little things too, like, no delivery notices. So the strategy there was just door knock, go there, spend all day, hit the houses over and over and over and over until you get the people. And if you don't, you got to go back the next day. So it
Mhm.
just wasn't efficient, So and they financed your leads with the company, which for a starting agent is great, but it's also kind of a way to keep you beholden to them. You
Mhm.
get into this chargeback thing, you get into lead debt thing, and suddenly you owe the company, you're digging out of that hole. So all said and done, though, I mean, it was a great place to start. And I worked in PreNeed and funeral homes. and was in Nashville and lost. I moved down there to be a sales manager and just could not. Certain markets PreNeed just does not work in wealthier areas. There's no way people are paying for they don't care. They just said, I'll cut a check. I don't care if it's 10 grand or 100 grand, I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of Nashville was that. So it was hard to develop a sales force. I had this guy who, Josh Jensen, calling me all the time, trying to recruit me, to Equita, where I met you. And I found myself with no job. I'm in Nashville, and I call him up, say, hey, I was able to make $2,000-3,000 a month off of those 20 leads I was working with. What if we ratchet this up, and I can get 20 a week? Can I make that 10 grand a month or more? And long story short, got involved with that independent model and learned, from you, from Josh, from Holden, from Ben Bowman, from all these people. And the great training is, about the door knocking, delivery notices, presentation steps, lead flow is key. And I could pick where I wanted to go. I could get 20. I just saw a thing here. If I wanted, I could get, I guess, like 150 leads a week, every week of the year around here.
It's a great market. It's one of those things that people discount the value of the urban market because they're afraid of the urban market. They're afraid of the persistency, the people. I don't know, but I know, and the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, the Philadelphia market, Baltimore, inner city, New Jersey areas, they're not going to run out of leads as quick as other areas. And you could sustainably build a book of business in a geographically logical fashion.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it takes me about, the way I set it up was it took me a whole calendar year to work the whole metro area. And then a year later, I'm back to the other, it's been a year since I've mailed to these people and I'm back there. And then if we want to supplement or do those blitzes we talk about, I just go up to Duluth, Minnesota, up on Lake Superior. We go up somewhere in the Iron Range in Hibbing or some farm country. And half the time the sales are even better out there.
Yeah.
It's just different dynamic. You're driving 5 miles to the next home versus walking across the yard.
Exactly. So you spent a little bit of time in PreNeed. Could you give us like 60 seconds on what that is? Because I think a lot of people misunderstand what that is product-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. So PreNeed is typically done through a funeral home. It's a contract between you and the funeral home where you itemize all of your services, right? So say you plan out you want a funeral and it's $10,000, right? People will pay that amount, single premium. It's guaranteed issue. They lock in that funeral merchandise at that price. They never have to pay any more money down the road for merchandise or services. And that's what that is. They can also go on payment plans if they don't have the money up front, extremely high financing for that kind of thing. And then they're asking health questions. So it's a little different in terms of, final expense is market. That's just life insurance, essentially, that simplified issue whole life that we all sell. And that money is payable to a beneficiary of your choice. Whereas when you do the PreNeed stuff, it's payable to the funeral home.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have control over that money. Once all bills are paid at the funeral home, you might get some back, which I've seen, and depends who you're working with. But it's payable to the funeral home. Another big difference is that stuff, if set up correctly, is made irrevocable from the get-go. So you surrender your rights to take a loan against the money, get the money back, anything like that. But you can't ever lose it to medical assistance or the county or any kind of a spend down scenario.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you've been in the business since 2018, been in the business long enough to develop some good routines, good habits, deal with some adversity. Can you speak to consistency? Because I think if an agent can just be consistent, they'll make it through the good, bad, and in between of our business.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And that's what was difficult for me initially, but it was kind of like, for me, there was no option B. Option B was go get a job, right? Get a job where I'm going in at 8 a.m. every day. So I'm like, I'm just going to do this every day from 9 a.m. till it gets dark and see what happens, give it my all. And it was that consistency I've heard someone say it's as simple as buy the leads and go to work.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't have to overcomplicate this. Follow someone who does it well. And I mean, that was my routine for 2 years straight. I didn't do marketing per se. There was no building websites, incorporating businesses, or all this stuff people think they need to do.
Oh,
It was get in front of people and sell. That was it.
yeah. But I think it was also get around somebody that's providing you personal mentorship at the beginning with Old America that kind of kept you on the right track. Because some of the stuff we see on Facebook posts, I'm thinking to myself, first of all, how did you ever hear of insurance? Second off, how did you get your license? And third off, has nobody told you don't need 3 corporations, 2 websites, a social media strategy? You just need to get out your door and go see people.
Yeah. I mean, to speak to that exact thing, I'm at these. I try to go to one conference a year, something that's going to move the needle the most on my business that I'll use. And I'd never checked out Medicare cons, so I wanted to go. It's good for networking, but I couldn't count the number of agents I talked to that they've been in the business for a couple months. They have no book of business, and they're talking about all this. Well, I need to buy this system. I need to incorporate. I need to be an S corp. I need to build a website and get all the. And I'm like, you do not. You shouldn't even be here. You should be buying leads and going to work. That's it.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Like, don't complicate it. And it was that consistency of routine, like you said, is just getting all the leads. Sundays were always, for me, it was get the leads, print them out, put them in Road Warrior, get them all mapped out. Make sure my laundry's done. I know what I'm wearing. I got my food made for the week. Sometimes I'm like one of these people that needs to eat throughout the day. So I always bring food in the car, so I'm not tempted to eat crappy or spend unnecessary time at a gas station or a restaurant, and rinse and repeat. That's it. Go out, knock doors, leave delivery notices, and keep doing that.
I think sometimes people never heard or don't realize there's only really about 45 sales hours in a week. And the amount of time you can waste stopping for gas during the sales day, stopping for a meal, like meandering around Walmart instead of knocking doors, really starts to chip away at that 45 hours when you already have to include drive time, appointment time, like just going to the bathroom time. Like you got to be super efficient with your time, and talking about preparation. I assume that's why you're able to write consistent premium.
Yeah, it's sticking to that system. And when I'm out there working, I'm out there to work. I'm not looking at Facebook. I'm not stopping in gas station unless I need to go to the bathroom. And a lot of times I'll be able to hit those in people's, apartment or their house. Don't be afraid to ask them to use the bathroom. Never had anyone tell me no.
I've been afraid of some of the bathrooms, though.
Oh, for sure. When you get in there, I'm like, man, I wish I would have not come in here. And then they got the towel there. Like, I don't know about that.
That's how I was 20 years old.
But stay on task. I'll when I'm working. It's the only thing I can control is my activity. Right. I don't know who's going to be home. I don't know who's going to buy. I don't know what's going to happen. But I know I can knock on 15 doors in a day if I set my mind to do that. If no one's home, I can hit 15 in an hour.
Yeah.
So it really depends how many people you're going to meet with and get into versus how many you can knock. But it's something you can kind of control as that activity.
Do you do any appointment setting?
I'm like kind of I don't know if I'm an anomaly in that area, but I've done it. I don't like it. I find for me, I enjoy door knocking. I don't know if it's the ADHD that I've had and the hyperactivity type. Like I don't like sitting in one spot. So to me, to do telesales would sound soul draining and just I like moving around, getting out of the car, going up in apartments and all that. So I've used appointment setters. What I find is I'm better at it than they are. If I want an appointment set, I do it. The only time I'll do it is if I'm on a blitz and I have 100 leads. Yeah. Then I need to maximize that. I may not be able to knock 100 of them in a week if I meet with a lot of people. So when I door knock, it eliminates the no-shows, right? They're either there or they're not. And I'm going to do that, what we call the disposition, right? We're either going to sell them insurance, set an appointment, or they're done.
Yeah. Get in or get kicked out. Like this. Get an answer with what you're there for.
Right. Exactly. And so no, I don't really do a lot of appointment setting. I'm just not, it's not necessary for me. Now, I know plenty of people that's all they do. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely more ways to skin a cat, right? And why would you skin a cat? That's
I mean,
what a weird
it's not-
saying. I mean, I don't know
who's
why I thought of
skinning
that.
cats? You're also
Who's
probably
skinning
murdering people.
cats?
I think though it's important to recognize what you enjoy and what is beneficial to your style. Like if
Yeah,
you're able to go there and consistently write 3, 4, 5, 6,000 a week in door knocking, you have the time to do it. It's getting you the results you want. Do it. I think so
right.
many times people try to change what's working, and then all of a sudden nothing works. Um, although there is a balance between being open minded. Like I think the longer we're in the business, the less open-minded we become. So you have to at least consider things on occasion. And like
Sure.
you said, if you're going out of town, you're going on a sales blitz, you're working typically more leads than normal, right? You're only
Yeah.
there for a short amount of time. Having it stacked up in an appointment manner is a very strategic way to capitalize on being in a different market.
Right. Be willing to adapt. If something's not working, try something different
Mhm.
for sure.
How many times have you done like out of town sales blitzes?
How many times? I haven't in the last year too much, but before that, I'd say probably about 5 of them over
Okay.
the course of about a 4-year period. So
So
one a year.
So to define that a little bit better, you're buying more leads, you're leaving your general area, you're probably staying in a hotel. Any other
Correct.
parameters behind that?
So you say any parameters behind
Like
that?
define it for us. Like what exactly is a sales blitz?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's what you said. It's somewhere out of town, somewhere that I'm not working that regular lead flow. I am going to typically get a hotel. So and that's a different dynamic too when you're out of town.
Mm-hmm.
A lot the distractions aren't there. You know, I'm in a hotel. It's like, well, what am I going to do other than work?
Yeah.
You know, so it's even better if you can pick a place that's mundane. You know, go out to farm country in the middle of North Dakota. There's
Yeah.
nothing to do out there. Nothing. There's no malls. There's no tourist stuff. There's
Mm-hmm.
just farms and wind. So, so there's really nothing to do. But yeah, pick someone far away and then drop mail. You know, I specifically would drop whatever I need to get back 100 leads. I like to do 80 to 100 leads.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll bring an agent with me and we get more. But we stay in there, get there Sunday night, hit the phones Sunday night, and then I'm also calling and running appointments throughout the rest of the week. So like in the morning, I'll get on the phone from like 8:30 to 9:30 before my first appointment.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I have the time at night or even during the day, you know, between houses, someone doesn't show, jump on the phone for 20 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
call 10, 15 people, you'll set appointments.
I found, and this is a little bonus tip, that between say 6 to 6:30 Eastern time and about 8:30, I can typically set almost the entire next day of appointments off of direct mail.
Easy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with same time too. 6 to 8 p.m. People are home. I usually on that Sunday night, it
Mhm.
wouldn't be rare to book up Monday, Tuesday, and part of Wednesday.
Yeah. I also have done it driving. I haven't been pulled over for it yet, but I don't want to wait. I want to get home, but I also want to capitalize on the hour and a half on the road. And I want to make sure if the appointment setter hasn't filled the day, I fill the day.
Yeah,
And I think if you're a single producing agent without a ton of ancillary noise in the background, you'll be your best appointment setter for sure.
yeah.
In your experience, I'm sure you've brought on agents that didn't make it. You've seen other agents in the industry fail out. Are there any like commonalities on why you think agents fail?
First thing that came to my mind is work ethic and not following the system. Like we all have systems, right? And why? And I've told them a bunch. I'm like, you know, you can choose to follow. Here's the blueprint for success,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, we want these 3 presentations a day, 15 door knocks a day before you go home, right? I don't care if you close sales or not. I mean, that's the end game. But if you do that activity, the end of the week, you're going to have 12 to 15 presentations. That's a number we know
Mm-hmm.
to make money. And why they don't follow that, I don't know. I don't know if it's their work ethic or they think they have a better way. And then, there's the other one where we say, okay, there's a few minor exceptions, but when you agree that 95% or higher of the people that are successful in final expense, weekly direct mail lead orders, they're
Absolutely.
consistently getting leads.
Yeah.
So when you tell someone that and they don't do that, I'm like, okay, maybe this person knows a better way. But yeah, I think it's the work ethic and mainly just not following the systems.
Yeah, whatever the system is, be it a captive model, be it an independent model, be it a Medicare model, whatever system that you've decided to sign up to work under, just embrace it. Like if you trusted that person to work with them, and then reevaluate a year, 2, 3 years later, add your style when you've got the money to do it. But I think people just can't stop their own thinking and do it. I think this business allows us to be creative in other outlets and fund passions and projects and experiences, but just don't be creative in this. Just go do it. It really is pretty mundane.
Yeah, it's simple, right? And it's just buy the leads, go to work kind of thing. And why people don't do that, it's beyond me. But and then we all have within those systems people that have achieved massive levels of success that are willing to help us. Right? I mean, ride-alongs, like what could be better? Like getting in the car with someone and watching them do it who does it at a high level. Like I'm just going to copy what they do.
That's all I did. That's all I did. Like, I'm just going to do these things, carry the exact same bag, say the exact same words. And then eventually it became my own style to it. But I did exactly down to the bag they carried to get it right.
Yeah, me too.
Jason, before we wrap up for the day, what has this business allowed you to do outside of the business? Travel, experiences, hobbies. What have you been able to do that you couldn't have done because like now that you're successful in the business?
Yeah. First one that comes to my mind is I've been able to buy back my time, so to speak. It's freedom to live life on my terms. And what that means to me is doing what I want with who I want, when I want, how I want, with certain exceptions. I can't go jump on a private jet yet. So, but no joke, you can reach that level if you want to put in the work and do that in this industry. For me, that's not a goal. I just say that, but yeah, it's having the freedom to, just be an agent, scale my business. Do I want to do Medicare? Do I want to do final expense? And it has funded other hobbies. Like you said, I can travel now. I can go to these conventions. I can go to Costa Rica for a week. We went there recently and rented a great house. And, due to those awesome renewal commissions, I'm getting paid every day on vacation. It's great. So I'm so glad, Josh was persistent in recruiting me, and it's I'm in this for life. This is my career, and it's exciting. And you can write your own ticket. You can do what you want.
I think it really allows you to overall broaden your horizons with what your capabilities and your experiences and your life you're able to do. If you're able to make the short-term sacrifices, invest the money, put in a ton of work days you don't want to, work in weather you don't like to, deal with people you probably wouldn't ever like to see, but put the work in to get the reward. I think that's a fair way to put it, right?
Absolutely. Put the work in, do, just grind, like we say, and grind until you have, for me, it was like, wow, I'd never had more than like $20,000 in my bank account, and I got to 30, and then it got to 50, and then it got to 100 and 150. And I'm like, I could live for like 3 years now with no income. Like that. I never had security. That's another one. The security is awesome. It reduces anxiety. And although sometimes I think I should sink all my money into something, because I work a lot harder when I'm broke. And that's just an honesty thing with myself. Something I need to, I wish I had better work ethic. When I didn't have money, I'm like, I have to go out today and work.
Yeah. Open up a new bank account and pretend that you don't have any money. And you're like, oh God, $72. Gosh. All right.
Right.
Today.
Yeah. Put it all in an annuity, something I can't get at.
Yeah. But the reality is that you have to work hard to earn that. It takes time to get there. You aren't allowed or able to do what you do now when you did it in the beginning. And it's 2023. You've been on this journey since 2018. It doesn't happen overnight.
No, not at all. It took, and for me, it was a slow ramp up, I'd say. I went from producing like 5,000 a month to 7,000 to 10,000 over the course of about an 8-month period to get to that where I was doing like above 15,000 regularly. Every single month I was like 15 to 20 or more. But it took a while. Some guys hit that right out of the gate. Some it takes a year, some it takes 2 years. Others never do it.
Yeah.
So everyone's different.
I'll leave with one tip in case there's someone that watched this video and says to themselves, I've got one last week to make it. And Jason, you can agree or disagree. I think if you print out your leads this weekend, you put together what you're wearing, where you're working, and you work from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. 5 days this week, like genuinely actually working, not messing around on TikTok, like banging on doors. You talk to people, you give them a presentation. If you put in 5 days and 10 hours a day and you were prepared before you did it, if you hadn't written at least a little bit by the end of the week, it probably isn't for you. But if you put in that degree of effort, would you agree, Jason, you can probably make it to the next week and the week after that?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm glad you said that. I'm like, then maybe this just isn't for you. And that's okay. It's not for everyone. In fact, most people cannot do this, but yeah, you're right. If you can be honest with yourself in the mirror, that's who you need to look at the end of the day. And did I put in that effort? Did I work from 10 to 6 and really work? But yeah, if you do that, you should be able to get indoors and sell stuff. I mean,
the rest will work itself out. You'll get better later. You'll know what to say quicker. You'll know what to type faster, but just the effort will work itself out over the course of time. And it's okay to be honest with yourself at some point and say, I only have one life to live. This isn't what I'm good at, like to do, or being successful. Let's go find something else. Harm. And really, nobody should judge you for that as well.
No, it's all part of the process. And, to add on to what you said too, when you have that activity, you're knocking a lot of doors and you've given 50 presentations, 100, 500, you make mistakes. You're going to say the wrong thing. You're going to do the wrong thing, right? That's how you learn not to do it. Oh my God, I'm never going to say that again. Right? That's how you learn, is by failing. It's part of the process. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah. I say the same thing in every single home. And every so often though, I'll catch myself. I'll be like, what am I saying? That's not what I'm supposed to say right here. Stop, shut up. What are you doing? But yeah, repetition leads to success as well. Jason, I appreciate you being here. If you guys are liking this video, if you appreciate the content, you took something from it, give us a thumbs up. If you think it absolutely blows, give me a thumbs down. Open to criticism on that. Comment as well. The more comments and interactions you give, the more YouTube shows this video to people who really could benefit from some quality conversation. And then subscribe. If you're watching the video and you're not subscribed, as Sean Mike would say, that's kind of weird. So subscribe to the channel. We appreciate the interaction and the growth as well. Jason, thank you for taking 28 minutes of your day, and have an outstanding rest of your Friday in the business.
Thank you.